The next speaker is Dr. Fatin Al Zadjali. She is the Acting Assistant Dean of the College of Banking and Finance Studies, CBFS. Dr. Fatin is the Acting Assistant Dean for Academic Support and Student Affairs and the Head of the Islamic Finance at CBFS. She started her career as a banker and worked in 2 major banks in Oman in the investment bank divisions. She joined CBFS after that. She has an MBA from the University of Strathclyde and a PhD in Islamic finance. She has many amazing certifications, and she is also a certified Islamic banker. Her expertise is in behavioral skills, which is something very important, which I mentioned yesterday. Islamic banking, social and green finance as well, which is, I think, something which is amazing. She has major clients, including CBO, the Central Bank of Oman, Bank Muscat, and other banks as well. And she is currently publishing a paper on the impact of COVID-19 on the GCC stock market. So, Dr. Fatin, over to you.
So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear everyone, I'm very happy to see you today. And I'm very happy to see the youth today, because today when we speak about the future, we mean you. So before I start my presentation, I am so glad that there is a lot of mention about women empowerment and women power. However, today, when I was doing my slides yesterday to discuss the topic, which is on the digital transformation of the educational sector, I thought that Oman needs to be introduced to someone who has already done it. And I'm sure that you are already thinking we have a lot of people who talk, but what about the walk, talking the walk? Or walking the talk. I'm even so, overwhelmed with the talkers, I guess. So before I start, let me just ask you a simple question. How many people here in the hall wear a watch today? Can you raise your hands? Okay, wonderful. So you wear watches. Okay, wonderful. What about the youth? Do you? Okay. Do you wear it as an accessory, or do you wear it for something else? For the time, basically? For exercise, wonderful. Oh yeah, because there's Fitbit and Apple. Now the watch has transformed. Before it was a single function device. You only see the timing. But now you can, count your steps. Even my father, when he takes his steps and walk in the morning, he would actually provide us a summary of the talk after he is done about the 6 kilos or 7 kilos he took in the beach. So the watch is very different today. It gives you heartbeat. It gives you a lot of information. And yes, I'm talking today about the digital transformation of the educational sector. But since I come from the College of Banking and Financial Studies, I have to talk to you about my sector. And the sector is the banking industry. And it's huge. There is a lot of changes when it comes to the integration and the transformation and leveraging of financial services. Let me explain a little bit more on this. So here we have what's happening in the digital age when it comes to the financial sector. Approximately half of the 2016 3.9 trillion bill pay market, including housing, utilities, taxes, insurance, were transacted digitally, and Business Insider Intelligence forecast it will increase by 2022 to 75%. You are aware now that we are using our mobiles a lot to leverage whatever we need when it comes to payment. And this integration is going to increase day by day as we go. That's why when I'm going to introduce the next guest, you will ask him a lot of questions about what's happening and what he has been doing actually in that regard. So unfortunately, banks are not making the investment in technology to maximize their share of this market, as many young adults specifically are choosing third-party payers because they do not think bank systems are secure or convenient, meaning we are still having our doubts regarding the banking industry and the financial services. Are they convenient enough? Do they provide the value addition we are looking for? And with this innovation that we are having, how does it serve us? What is the purpose of this particular innovation? So it's a big question actually for those digital transformation makers. Chatbots are used now, whether it is at university level or at financial intermediation level. And of course, moving on to what's happening to the financial service industry, my stakeholders as College of Banking, I have to mention why we are making these changes today. We mentioned the youth. So look at this. This is fintech in Oman, financial technology. Fintech refers to financial technology. We have young tech-savvy population with high telecom and internet penetration rates. And when I speak about this, we have 131 mobile users. In fact, when I ask my students, do you have 1.5 phone? And they would nod. Yes, we have. There is one backup broken phone they are using when they want a backup when the original one is not been, they are not able to use it. 104% mobile broadband access per inhabitant and 75% fixed broadband access per household. I mean, this is huge. The penetration rate is high. The young are a very high population here in Oman. They are looking for job market opportunities. There is integration in the educational and the financial markets. So what does this mean? Look at this. This is a very small snapshot of the transformation of the financial sector. From the author of of Bank 4.0, Brett King mentioned this transformation. Bank 1.0, created in the 1472s and the 1980s, we have already went through the branch network, what the Medicis have created. The Medicis have created this branch network in which you go to the branch, you would like to transact any kind of, opening an account, taking a loan, you do this, and until the 1980s, we were following this model. In the 1980s and 2007, we have Bank 2.0, which is the invention of the first ATM machine in which you go to a teller, automated, and you take the money from that ATM machine. Next, we have in 2017, the invention of the first smartphone. Steve Jobs invented this first smartphone in which we have electronic services offered, mobile banking and so forth. Next, we have 2017 with the fourth industrial revolution and the inclusion of artificial intelligence, in which we are actually now predicting the data and making sense of the data. And of course, the biggest disruptive of them all, COVID-19, which changed so many things in the financial, in the education industry as well. There is a lot of changes in that regard. But I don't want to glorify COVID, since I know that so many of us has lost people because of this disease, but it had a significant impact on how we look at integration and financial innovation. So digital transformation. As I talk to you today, in the past 2 years, I have been teaching my students through online methods. And when I talk about this is not only the virtual Zoom, it's as well content creation and content sharing. In fact, today I have a training program addressed to the regional areas in Oman, Sur, Bremi, Nizwa, Salala, you name it. Today I'm going to meet them, and their agenda, their content is already shared in OneNote, meaning the integration is happening and it's huge. So these platforms are really enabling the change for us today, whether it is for 1,850 students or 5,000 students or even a small school of 500 students. But this technology, you have to create it by having people who know the technology, coders, people who know the programming language and how they can make these platforms work for us and for the value proposition that we would like to give to the public here in Oman. This enables us to construct customized, digestible, model-based delivery of knowledge and open access. Something that I would like to share with you is we actually can make this happen through, it's not moving. I think, here. So this is actually home office. It's an augmented reality of what could happen tomorrow to our educational world. We may have a very different setup, platform, in which we have the students already recorded, already known. Look at them. Some of them even selected avatars. One of them Superman, one of them, Batman. Over here, you can track their progress. Have they met the deadline? You can track their performance, how they are performing in terms of their assessments. This can happen really in future. And I would like to say, I noted that the discussions today, there was a lot of questions on regulations. Is it possible that we can regulate this? Is it possible that we can do something for the financial industry and the educational industry? And I would like to remind you that China is a highly regulated country. And it is really at the top when it comes to digital integration, to the effect that they have their own servers. Because there is one question I'd like to leave you at the end to think about it, ponder to that question before I move on to the next slide. Here, the digital strategy transformation. There is a lot to think about why there is a lot of resistance to the digital innovation. I would like to inform you that when I discuss with industry stakeholders about this, they always tell me that this will happen, it will happen. But there is resistance. We have spoken. A lot of speakers have mentioned about the resistance and the culture and the change, and things are happening very fast, and we are a bit, idealist. We would like to think about things a little bit more. But the thing is, the digital strategy required clearly defined vision, leadership, regulation that enables you to take forward those ideas. Decision framework that is easy, to the point, where you can really make the decision in a click of a button, as the youth would like you at the end to do it for them. Optimized governance, adaptive embrace change, risk-friendly. Today, as you come here, you have taken a risk. Did you know that? You have taken your car, drove all to get to this venue. By the way, it's a risk. You don't know what will happen on the road. So for some of you, took maybe 30 minutes to come here. So you have to embrace this risk. And today with technology, yes, we have to find a way to embrace it and take it and be a little bit friendly about it. We have to have strong digital fluency. Allow our kids to learn these skills, ability to digitally reimagine. Imagining is a very good, wonderful word where you can see how the world can collaborate and find ways and avenues of cooperation. So the strategy is very important for this change. I think, here we go. Is it here? Okay. Okay, I'm coming closer. Fine. So the point that I'm very interested to give you is the fact that we have the youth and we can prepare them. And through the winning criteria that is very important for us, scale, scope, and speed. Remember that this needs to be in tandem with our strategies. In tandem with what we can contribute to the Sultanate. At the end of the day, we have a number of regulations that need to be in line with the way forward that we would like to take our country. I loved one of the speakers today mentioned how we can contribute to Oman GDP. So finding the idea is on us, but implementation is on the team. We have to do it together. Remember that 70% of digital transformation projects will fail. And it's important to understand the challenges that we are dealing with. This is according to a survey conducted. 63% thought that the changing company culture is the hardest. Thinking beyond a campaign mentality in digital strategy efforts, 59% thinking that this is the second most important challenge when it comes to digital transformation. Cooperation between departments is another thing. Resources, people, technologies, and expertise. Understanding behavior or impact of new connected customer, what the customer really wants today and how we can make these changes for him. So I know I'm a bit fast. It's because I would like to give some of my time to my guest today. This is the roadmap to digital transformation. There is 10-step digital transformation roadmap. Remember strategy, strategy, strategy. In any sector you are, oil and gas, education, banking, if you don't have your value proposition that you already know what you need to offer, then pointless. Because I have seen a lot of people who are transforming digitally, but they do not have something that the public needs. So thinking about what exactly the public and the markets need, and understanding that digital transformation doesn't only allow you to penetrate the Omani market, but the regional market, the international market. This is how you can contribute to Oman, the GDP. So understanding these steps is important, because we can set ambition, but if we do not know the resources and how to start, and appointing the right team with the right skills, and introducing the workflows, and having this culture which is conducive, I'm afraid we cannot make it. So it's a step-by-step process. At the end of the day, we are interested in this, having qualified youth for the future. And having coders and doing their own bit of applied implementable changes, certifying them one by one as they go forward. It takes an effort for us to talk about how we can develop these talents together. This is the Islamic financial technology, in a snapshot, because I do come from an Islamic finance background. This is all the platforms around there. From the recent one is the report 2021. So when we look at the platforms, we have P2P, we have crowdfunding, we have challenger enablers, we have data analytics, blockchain, and so forth. Whatever technology you use, remember, it's not a solution. It is only an enabler for the value, the objective that you would like to reach to. I have already communicated my concerns regarding all those platforms. Is the rating and how secure they are. Because at the end of the day, yes, I'm very much interested in financial technology and the integration and having the solutions. But there is one question that always ponders my mind. To whom we are volunteering our data? Who knows about me? The face recognition. Who knows what I like? Who can leverage the algorithms? Who is having that command? And I think it's a question that we need to ask. So I think in the future, we have to have cybersecurity specialists as well to ensure that the data we are given are in the right hands. I am a bit fast, and I apologize for that. It is because I have decided to give some of my time to my guest, who I would like to introduce. I know I have started with, walking the talk, because at the end of the day, I have been giving you about things we need to do and some questions that are very challenging. But let me introduce Azizi, Ahmed Al-Azizi, who's a result-driven professional with over 25 years of senior management in telecom power education, with a Bachelor of Telecommunication Engineering from the US. And he's also a certified regulatory compliance professional focusing on creating, deploying innovative solutions. Ahmed also the CEO and founder of Al-Azizi Global Projects, providing innovative digital solutions. Among his recent products is fintech product, Pay Oman, which is an app focused on serving small, medium, local Omani community businesses and individuals for affordable payment solutions, and voice by feedback app, a feedback app for the educational community used in over 60 schools to gather stakeholders' perception data. His latest venture is AG Soft, a digital forensic technology for protecting both civil and financial institutions using data analytic solutions. Ahmed is passionate about education. Without any further ado, Ahmed, I think this is your time. Please tell everybody all the platforms you have created, specifically your educational one, on the English proficiency. So,
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmed Al-Azizi. I just moved back here 10 years ago. I was born in Saudi. My father was one of those who migrated to Saudi in the 60s. So I graduated in high school, and I was not able to enter the university in Saudi because I was Omani for engineering. I was able to enter other colleges, and I called SKU. They said, sorry, you are an international student. So my father took a loan and I went to US. Alhamdulillah, I moved and actually migrated to the US for 10 years. In 1997, when there was hardly any internet, I remember I used to do, in the weekend, I used to take my floppies and my disks and go home to home on a part-time to install internet. So my entrepreneurship goes to that time. So when I moved back after I back to Saudi in 99 or 2000, I saw a big need, and I started the first e-commerce website called Medina Gifts. I closed it after 6 years because I was not able to maintain the demand at that time. And also, my clients mainly were in US. So after the anthrax problem, I was not able to ship. So I used to ship. I started the website. I used to sell dates. I used to sell ihram. I used to sell, because I see that in Jeddah everywhere. That's my home city. So I said, there's a big demand here. So I used to, in the first year, I made $5,000 on a weekend. And the second year, I made $16,000. And the third year, the date was my biggest business. So when the anthrax happened, the federal government said, no more dates, no more coming. No more emails coming to US from outside with food and stuff. So I shut down the business. So, and then we went into education. We saw, because I'm coming from US background, we saw that the schools had an issue. You might have the best car, you might have a Rolls Royce, but if the driver is poor, you'll have an accident. So we figured out what was the problem was the teachers were not training. So we started from home teacher training. And alhamdulillah, by the time I came here, 2004 to 2011, we had 300 schools, universities, and colleges. Unfortunately, we closed the business quickly because we thought that Oman would have the need. So when we came here, we found that most of the schools were British curriculum, which had the tests and the exams. The training was not a demand. The schools would tell us, we actually can even hire a housewife, a mother, and would not need that. While in the US, you would not keep a license if you don't have a teacher who's licensed. So the training started collapsing with us, and we still maintain some schools, but the teacher training, and then I said, wait, why don't I solve problems with the technology? So we went into education technologies. So alhamdulillah, we have now Voice My Feedback, which is a platform for feedback. We found out that now if you need to complain about your school or a problem, you actually have to drive to school or you have to call, and sometimes you don't have to, you won't get an answer. You actually, with our platform, the school registers, you can actually contact the school, pre-register and send your complaint, and it will be tracked, it will be reported, and the school will have a data, because we are a data-driven also in education. So I continued to do that, and then I saw again a need in the fintech, because I saw, why do I have to go to school and wait for 2 hours to make a payment? So then I started Pay Oman. Unfortunately, I'm still stuck with Apple, with the approval, and with the central bank. So inshallah, that should be cleared soon. And finally, I would like to mention that the latest version, we're going to have AG Soft. We're going to focus on software, and we're going to have our latest technology in maintaining all the data for both the financial frauds and the crimes and all of that. So in a nutshell, I am unknown because I'm a stranger in my own home, but with the doctor who met me, he said, Ahmed, we have to let people know you. So I'm here. Anything that can be done, I'm here. If I can help with anyone, I'll share my email and I'll share my contact, inshallah. That's in a brief. So education, we do education. Just one thing I wanted to add with all the presentations today, please let kids, we need to start, I respect the colleges and the universities. The focus should also be from KG to 12. Let's give these kids the courage. Let them make mistakes. Let them experiment. When your child breaks an egg, don't scream at him. When our kids in this world are scared because we try to guide them. Let them make mistakes. Let them have the encouragement. And this culture goes on. When I first started my job in US as a telecom, the first day in West Virginia, I dropped 20,000 voice calls the first day. My boss didn't scream at me. He didn't get upset. He said, learn from it. Please do not we need to make mistakes. When Facebook CEO was asked, why you don't have old people in your company? He said, why do I need them? He said, experience. He said, I'll have one or two. The young kids will make a mistake, but they will innovate. Let kids make mistake. Let them be comfortable. Let them learn from themselves. Let them be self-learning. Let them, we guide them too much. In fact, in a class today, we're bypassing the teacher. The student is actually bypassing the teacher. We just need to, my advice is, please
I
let
agree with
them.
you totally,
Yeah,
Ahmed. In
we
fact,
need
my
to.
12-year-old is now taking a coding program, and he's in the phase of taking Python.
Yes.
So yes, we have to prepare the youth.
We're just a guide. We're just an enabler. I think one of our presentation it was mentioned. We just guide them. Believe me, they know you have a CTO at home who's your child, and you have also he also makes the decision. He helps. He helps everybody at home. The kids know everything. Let them make mistake. Don't be scared. You are his example. You don't have to worry about the culture. If you're comfortable and you are. You know that you're an example. So don't worry. Believe me, don't worry. He knows what's wrong and right. You don't have to, and we have to accept mistakes. Companies, please hire these kids. Tesla is nowhere from Elon Musk. He's not a banker. He created PayPal. He is not mechanical. He is not from car industry. His company is double the value of Toyota. Uber, he's not from a transportation company. Airbnb, they're not from hotel. Believe me, you can innovate when you're from outside. And this is one of the limitations when I go to companies here. They say, oh, you're not a banker, you're not this. So do give chances to kids. They know they can innovate. Sometimes someone from outside whose brand, who doesn't have background, might innovate and might take your company to the next level.
Wonderful. Ahmed, can you mention the example in Kuwait regarding the AI integration for the vaccination?
Yeah, so I know Mohammed Al-Rashidi from Global One.
One Global.
Yeah, in 2008 when I met him first I met him in Sudan when I went there for MTC at that time, I think, or MTN. And I talked to him, and he said that we had a chance. I said, I have a company also in Saudi, and he said, at that time I had an SMS code with STC. I had 6 channels. I used to send every day one vocabulary word, English. For example, play, يلعب, this, the تصريف, يلعب, لعب, played, and an example. And then I had one for TOEFL and SAT. When I had a teacher advices, and I had a business. I had 6 channels. I used to have like 9,000 subscribers. So when I told Muhammad, I said, Muhammad, can I enter to Kuwait? He said, of course you can enter to Kuwait. And I said, what else do you do? So he said, at that time in 2008, he had a vaccination. He said, when the son is born, they immediately sign up for him, for my service, and he would never miss any vaccination, anything. And subhanAllah, even at that time, Ministry of Health in Saudi didn't have it. So
thank you so much. It's really wonderful, and you can chat with the people during lunch time. Since we're just mindful of the time, we want to move on with the next speaker. Amar, over to you to introduce. Thank you so much, Dr. Fatin. It's always a pleasure